presentation of the budget, and following that, we will then go into the leader of the official opposition will commence his remarks in reply to the budget speech. Then adjourn that and go into the daily routine. And following question period, Mr. Speaker, we will go into public bills for second reading, and we will do, starting with the adjourned debate on Bill 48, we'll move forward. And I would imagine, Mr. Speaker, that in all probability, we will adjourn sometime before 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I move that the House to now rise.
The Honourable Member from Cape Breton.
Speaker, I've asked the Government House Leader if we've agreed on Friday morning that the continuation of the speeches on the budget speech from the opposition leader and our spokesman would conclude the business Friday morning as well.
Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, that is correct. That's the only business for Friday. We'll commence at 9 a.m. and we'll complete the address by the Leader of the Opposition and then by the Leader of the third party, and then we'll adjourn.
So debate on estimates will start on
The debate on estimates will start on Monday, and we'll be sitting on Monday from 2 until 10 p.m.
House now adjourned till 2 o'clock tomorrow. We've reached the hour of interruption. Tonight's late debate was submitted by the Honourable Member from Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley. I'll recognize the member from Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a pleasure to rise tonight, and a special privilege to speak on a topic that I feel very, very passionate about. And in that context, I would like to advise all honourable members that don't know, today is the Queen of England's birthday, Mr. Speaker, and being a firm believer in the monarch and not really a staunch monarchist, I just wanted to acknowledge that. My colleague from Colchester North is a very staunch monarchist, and the Queen of England today, Queen Elizabeth, is 78 years young, and Mr. Speaker, I think we have certainly been well served by our Queen. Mr. Speaker, volunteers, I know the Honourable Member for Hants East spoke briefly about volunteers during the last resolution that we were speaking of, and the whip with our party today was kind enough to give me a leave of absence for a couple of hours, and I had a privilege of attending a volunteer ceremony in my community, an extremely well-attended volunteer ceremony, and I would say approximately 80% of the dozens and dozens of volunteers at Braeside, which is a home of special care, are senior citizens. And Mr. Speaker, we did have certainly some young people and middle-aged people that were there, and because once in a while I have the privilege and honor of going in and playing a few tunes and speaking with the seniors as well, I was kind enough to receive a lapel pin, and I'm extremely pleased. As you know, all members have lapel pins, and it's quite an honor when people in your community bestow a little bit of significance on you as an individual. But Mr. Speaker, make no mistake about it. Our government cares deeply about seniors in this province. And before I go into my remarks, I want to share a little philosophy with you that in fact some might already be aware of. And I'm going to kind of stick to these notes I put together, which is a bit unusual, but I would like to do that. But Mr. Speaker, like I was saying, Mr. Speaker, did you ever stop to think that hard times mean nothing to a hen? She just keeps on digging worms and laying eggs, regardless of what the media are saying about happening in the local area and across the world. She just keeps digging and working hard and laying eggs. And if the ground is hard, you know what? The hen scratches a little harder. And if it's dry, she digs a little deeper. And if she strikes a rock, she works around the rock. But she always digs up worms and turns them into hard-shelled profits, as well as tender broilers. So did you ever see, Mr. Speaker, a pessimistic hen? Did you ever know of one starving to death, waiting for worms to bring themselves to the surface? Did you ever hear one cackle because times were hard? Not on your life. She saves her breath for digging and her cackle for eggs. Seniors today constitute one, if not the fastest growing population in Canada. there are approximately 4 million seniors, representing close to 13% of this country's population. Seniors' population is also expected to continue to grow in the new millennium, and that by the year 2016, 16% of all Canadians will be 65 years of age and over, and by the year 2041, an estimated 1 in every 4 people living in Canada will be a senior. There are a number of superlative programs being offered by my government for seniors, such as Access a Home, Community Accessibility Program, Community Transportation Program, Home Adaptations for Seniors' Independence, Home Care, Mobility Disability License Plates and Permits, Seniors Pharmacare, Seniors Property Tax Rebate, which I might add, our government reinstituted after the cruel withdrawal of it by the former Liberal government. Senior Citizens Assistance Program, which provides assistance to senior citizen homeowners who wish to remain in their home but cannot afford to carry out the necessary repairs. Senior Citizens Secretariat. Our government believes it is imperative for seniors to be able to express their concerns and interest to a government organization that will not only listen to the concerns of seniors but react to their circumstances. Having the Senior Citizen Secretariat staff to turn to for support and direction is a positive government initiative. Something I might add again did not seem overly important to the previous Liberal administration, which cut back resources at that particular office. I find it somewhat ironic to be on my feet this evening urging the federal government to do more. No doubt the third party will try to show that the Martinis government in doing, pardon me, well, you could call it the Martinites or the Martini government, is doing all, but one has to listen if they will, and if you have an opportunity. The Mississauga South Liberal MP, Paul Zabot, is calling upon his own government to amend the criminal code for those who are convicted of either defrauding seniors or abusing seniors. Our government, through our Minister of Justice, has pleaded time and time again with the federal government in Ottawa to do something about senior abuse in this country, Canada, Mr. Speaker. So now, Mr. Speaker, one of the government's own backbenchers sees the need for something to happen when a senior is taken advantage of because of their vulnerability. We have seen it happen here in Nova Scotia quite a bit in recent years, and our government strongly believes in more rigid punishment for those that abuse seniors. Mr. Szabo also expressed concern about the fact Health Canada has lost its closeness to people, and he's calling upon, and he will get no argument from this side of the House, about a Physician General for Canada responsible to guide and advise seniors on appropriate care. The MP offered a number of other interesting perspectives, but as well, Mr. Speaker, I realize I only probably have time to share a few of the MP's thoughts with members of this legislature, Mr. Speaker. But I want to reiterate that our government every day is working hard on behalf of seniors in this province, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have limited resources, but our government says, and our Premier stated emphatically, that health care, education, and a balanced budgets are a priority for this government, and they're a priority for members on this side of the House. And Mr. Speaker, yes, the Minister of Finance and all my colleagues have been working very, very hard to come in with a budget. The budget will be tabled tomorrow, and you can bet, without sharing any details, Mr. Speaker, that budget, Mr. Speaker, that budget, I'm speaking in general terms to the Honourable Member in Dartmouth North, that budget will continue, as past budgets have, to support our seniors in the province of Nova Scotia, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there isn't one member in this House, or one party in this House, that has a monopoly or somehow has political possession of the senior population in the province of Nova Scotia, Mr. Speaker. We all work very hard on behalf of our seniors, Mr. Speaker, and I'm extremely proud of the steps, the positive steps that we have taken, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of our senior population in this province, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, I know that I have only approximately, I guess it's about a minute and a half left, and I want to wind up by saying that, you know, Mr. Speaker, just this year we put $12 million additional dollars into pharmacare, and Mr. Speaker, also this year, 750 seniors across Nova Scotia, 750 additional seniors across Nova Scotia will be exempt from the premium Mr. Speaker, exempt from the pharmacare premium. And that's good news to the senior population out there that is struggling so hard to make ends meet, Mr. Speaker. So another positive step, Mr. Speaker, that we have taken as a government, and they're steps that we all have supported unanimously on behalf of our senior citizens out there. We'd like to do more, and I believe tomorrow when our budget is tabled, Mr. Speaker, that when the details are disclosed to all members in the House, we will once again be able to take our place and proudly say in the Nova Scotia legislature, the home of the first responsible government in the old British Empire, Mr. Speaker, that once again we have worked very hard to deliver on behalf of the seniors in this great province, Nova Scotia, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, just in the last few seconds, I want to acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, that it's one of the first times I've had to speak when you're in the chair, and I appreciate your very much indulgence with my few remarks on seniors in the province of Nova Scotia. Thank you.
Thank you. Recognize the member for Dartmouth North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise to speak on the resolution number 8925. And Mr. Speaker, I must say that I'm absolutely flabbergasted with the presentation that was presented by the honourable member from Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley. When the honourable member from Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley, Mr. Speaker, was on this side of the floor and not sitting on the government side of the House, that honourable member could speak from the heart on the issues of seniors. The honourable member today spoke from a prepared text, Mr. Speaker, and I want to tell you that I thought that there would be a litany of information to the Nova Scotians out there who are listening to this Legislative Assembly and who will read Hansard at a future date, that they would see the kind of programs and services that his Tory government has brought into power since they've come into office in 1999. Mr. Speaker, that honourable member over there from the beautiful Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley has had his lips sealed by the cabinet minister not to say anything that might put this government on the spot with respect to its situation and addressing the issues that are needed by seniors. Mr. Speaker, also when that member was on this side of the House, that member stood up here and introduced a piece of legislation asking for free licenses for seniors. Free fishing license for seniors, not hunting license, free fishing license for seniors. That honourable member, once he got on the other side of the House, no longer requested free fishing license for seniors, but he requested a reduced fee for senior license, fishing license for seniors. That member completely walked in lockstep with the government and the cabinet ministers and said, no way will I, no way.
Point of order. The honourable member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley on a point of order.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I take exception to that latest diatribe by the honourable member for Dartmouth North. The fact of the matter is I'm very proud that the seniors receive a $12 reduction, and the seniors in my riding, I don't know if the honourable member's getting calls in Dartmouth North, but I haven't had one call from a senior complaining about paying $5 for an environmental fee to help restock our water courses. Mr. Speaker, the seniors were complaining when they had to pay $17.75. And if that honourable member can table the names of seniors that are complaining about paying an environmental fee to help stock our water courses, then let him stand up and table those names.
Okay, it's not a point of order. The honourable member for Dartmouth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the honourable member just chose to occupy as much of my time as possible so that I wouldn't tell him about the actions of his government. The actions of his government, as a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, is the same as the former government, taking out of seniors' pockets to provide for long-term care and nursing home fees. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Senior, it was not enough just to pay the shelter fee for seniors who had to go into a nursing home and long-term care. It was a matter of fact of those paying for the medications and health care services that were provided by those nursing homes and long-term care. It was because of our government, our party, and our official opposition in this status so that that party and the former Liberal Party would recognize that we come here with a voice speaking on behalf of seniors. Seniors have abandoned both the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party because they have not addressed the seniors' issues. As a matter of fact, those two political parties have placed more of a burden on seniors in the last 10 years than any other political party in the history of this province. Mr. Speaker, I want you to know that there were over 24,000 petitions put through this legislative assembly on nursing home and long-term care expenses to Nova Scotians, to senior Nova Scotians, that were taken out of the pockets by both of those political parties. As a matter of fact, I just want to go into your particular area, Mr. Speaker, of Pictou. And I remember a family, and I know that I can mention the name of this family because this family was mentioned, and it was because of the media and our political party that that family now has access to its property, because if not, the Conservative government of the day was going to pull everything from that family, and that family, in fact, was the McKinnon family of Pictou. And Mr. Speaker, that family had to challenge this government on the right to continue to keep its woodlot so that it could create firewood to keep the home burning. That family had to turn around and challenge this government, and thanks to the media and this party again, challenge this government on keeping the small portion of the farmland in which it did have for development as well, for their own personal use, for to do that small bit of agriculture, for to maintain an existence, because that family was living on a modest income. That's the kind of action, Mr. Speaker, that has been caused by that political party. And that political party, Mr. Speaker, who the honourable member is a member of, who brought this resolution forward, is the same political party that upped the seniors' fees this year to $54. And I have emails, and if that honourable member wants to walk to the office of Dartmouth North, I'll show you emails where there are a number of seniors who have sent emails saying that they're going to opt out of the Seniors Pharmacare program because they're on that border. They're on that very border of the basic minimum amount in which they cannot qualify for. So they, in turn, have to pay that additional $54, which brings it up to $390 now compared to the $330 that they were paying before. You tell me that that's a progressive government towards seniors? Mr. Speaker, how can a member of this legislative assembly, who's been here longer than I have, who have watched the actions of this legislature, say that that government stands in compassion to the seniors of this particular province? The cost of seniors with respect to long-term care. Home care is another issue. The seniors have done, this government has done everything to reduce the home care services to those seniors by way of going in and doing evaluations and assessments of those seniors for what they need, and then cut back from the home care programs that they normally had for approximately 10, 15 years. Mr. Speaker, I will tell you that there is absolutely no way that that government or the previous government before it can stand here and say that it shakes the hands of seniors and that no one owns the rights of seniors, because we have consistently fought the seniors' issues in this legislative assembly far more in the last 5 years since I've been in this legislature, and my party's been in this legislature, than any move by any other political party. And why do you think, Mr. Speaker, there's a shift? There's a shift in where the seniors are parking their vote. And they're parking their vote because they know that there's a political party here that speaks for them. They're parking their vote because they know that we argued on the issues such as the Alzheimer's drugs. 80% of all the other provinces cover that. This province doesn't cover all the Alzheimer's drugs that are needed for seniors. You know, Mr. Speaker, there's also been cuts in services to rural hospitals. Seniors who live in rural communities like the community in which the honourable member who brought the resolution forward is a member of. Those rural communities have seen cuts in their rural hospital programs. Those seniors have to travel now outside their communities for routine tests such as blood tests and blood work and other medical services. Are you telling me, Mr. Speaker, and is this House going to tell me that that's a government that's compassionate and caring about seniors? And once again, Mr. Speaker, I want to go back because my time, I could spend another 20 minutes on this, and I wish the time wouldn't go so fast. Because I want to go back to the pharmacare program, which that honorable member mentioned twice. In 5 years, that pharmacare program has been increased by that political party twice. And that political party only didn't increase the pharmacare program last year because it was an election year. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that this government, who professes to be compassionate, caring, understanding, and values seniors, better reflect that in tomorrow's budget. Because if that reflection does not exist in tomorrow's budget, I, as a member of this political party, will be standing here watching what that government uses and takes from seniors to balance its budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Time has expired, and I'll recognize the honourable member for Glace Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm left shaking my head in awe and wonderment of the previous speakers, Mr. Speaker, because I'm left wondering about the pomposity of the NDP, which thinks it's the only party in Nova Scotia that cares about seniors, and I'm left wondering at the audacity of the Tories who would even bring this resolution forward, Mr. Speaker. How great they think they have done on behalf of seniors, and as the resolution states, they think they should recognize the positive enhancements by the Ham government for seniors. Mr. Speaker, you know, seniors are paying more for pharmacare in this province. Despite a commitment from that government when they were in opposition to eliminate the premium, some seniors are now paying about $652 more since the Ham government came into power. Is that what you would call a positive enhancement, Mr. Speaker? Is that a positive enhancement? Mr. Speaker, some seniors are not able to stay in their own homes in this province. Would you consider that a positive enhancement for seniors in this province? Some seniors, as you know, let me refer back to the incident at Happy Haven. We remember Happy Haven and what happened there. In one instance, there was a couple that was married for 50-plus years, and despite what this government said, they were separated. They were separated seniors. Despite what this government said they would do, they didn't modernize the Homes for Special Care Act. That hasn't been done. Is that a positive enhancement for seniors? They charge individuals, a lot of them seniors, $50 more a day to stay in a hospital bed when they're waiting to get into a long-term care bed. Is that what you would call a positive enhancement for seniors in this province? All of the money the government has received, for instance, for the affordable housing program. Nothing in terms of an expansion to the Senior Citizens Assistance Program. Is that a positive enhancement for seniors, as this resolution pretends to put forward that the Ham government is doing? And I would be totally remiss if I didn't mention those 500 new user fees that are there now. User fees that are going to have to be paid by seniors in this province. Well, my, oh my, oh my, what a wonderful positive enhancement put forward by the Ham government. Now that seniors in this province have to pay more. There's an increase in ambulance fees from $105 to $120 for seniors, a lot of whom require the usage of an ambulance to get to hospital, transfer them back and forth, or whatever the case may be. My, what a positive enhancement for seniors. User fees for home support from $8 to $10. And throw in a means test as well. What a positive enhancement for seniors. A new home support, canceled visit fee, another $50 if a client is unable for whatever reason to get around to canceling an appointment. What a very positive enhancement for seniors in this province. And of course, I wouldn't have time to go into detail on the other 497 user fee increases, taxes, whatever you want to call them, many of which are going to impact directly or indirectly on seniors throughout this province. And of course, seniors are spending hours on end in emergency rooms across this province. My, what a positive enhancement in health care for seniors. They wait days, months, sometimes years for orthopedic surgery in the Capital District to get hip replacements or knee replacements. My, Mr. Speaker, the member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley must think that that is a very positive enhancement on his behalf and on his government's behalf. Seniors are waiting for more hospital beds in this province. Long-term care beds are tied up with seniors. Acute care beds are not available. Wait lists grow all the time in this province. What a wonderful, positive enhancement on behalf of the Ham government and seniors in this province, Mr. Speaker. Well, Mr. Speaker, in the meantime, while all of those nasty things are happening to seniors, the member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley takes up the time in this House to talk about the little hen scratching for worms. The little hen who can't find a worm scratches harder to find the worm. Some of our seniors would be happy to have a worm, Mr. Speaker. They'd be happy to have anything from this government, because in the 5 years almost that this government has been in power, nothing has been done for seniors in this province. They are at a disadvantage, Mr. Speaker, a disadvantage. But what's actually happening here, Mr. Speaker—
Order. The honourable member for Colchester-Musquodoboit on a point of order.
Just 30 seconds. I would like to say that the honourable member hasn't come within a country mile of addressing the fact that his federal cousins in Ottawa have gutted $1 billion out of healthcare in Nova Scotia in the last 10 years. $1 billion, and the province of Nova Scotia is struggling to make ends meet and provide for our seniors.
Okay, it's not a point of order. The honourable member for Glace Bay, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I will. You know, the member brings up a point. Let me comment on the point. I will tell you one thing, and I've heard from seniors who are sick and tired of hearing that government blame things on Ottawa, because they know the difference. They know the difference, and they won't take it any longer. Now, let me tell you what's really behind this, Mr. Speaker. What's really behind this, the member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley, this is sort of like an annual rite of spring. You know, when spring comes along, we love to hear the birds chirping, and the weather is better, and everybody starts to feel better. It's that time of the year. But this is an annual rite of spring, a passage of spring that the member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley celebrates every year, because this is the time of year when he chooses a subject that's a difficult subject to try and justify what the government is doing, and he brings it up in the House to say, my, what a great job we're doing. It's the annual kissing up to the Premier to try and get in Cabinet, Mr. Speaker. That's what this is a case of from the member for Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley. Every time at this time of the year, this member decides, well, I'm going to speak out. For the few times that I do speak out in the legislature, I'm going to take a subject that I in no way could justify or give any kind of credence to whatsoever, but I will speak on behalf of the government, because I want the Premier and everybody to know that I still believe in them, and I'd still like to get into Cabinet. Well, the same thing will happen again this time, Mr. Speaker. The same thing will happen as every spring that passes by. Every spring that goes, they'll realize you ain't getting in, all right? There's no way that we're going to let you in, because we have memories, and we're going to remember what happened in the past, So you can take all of the cases that you want to on behalf, or pretend that you're speaking on behalf of seniors in this province. The real reason will always come out is that it is just that, an annual rite of spring on behalf of the member of Colchester-Musquodoboit Valley to pick a difficult subject and to stand up and kind of take one for the team, Mr. Speaker, I guess is another way of putting it, you know, because no one else over there would dare try and stand up and say what a great job that we are doing on behalf of seniors in this province, because as the member for Dartmouth North has pointed out rather eloquently, this government has hurt seniors. This government has hurt seniors in this province in the almost 5 years that it has been in power. This government has cost seniors money. This government has made seniors take a back seat to on a lot of issues. This government has not put forward one positive idea, one positive enhancement, as this resolution refers to, a positive enhancement being made on behalf of seniors. This government is remiss in its duty to seniors in this province. This government has been responsible for a sorry and a sad state that seniors now find themselves in this province, Mr. Speaker, and it is this government that ultimately will pay the price, and seniors will see to that. There's a growing senior population in this province, as there is across this country. And seniors will ultimately see to it that this government pays the ultimate price, Mr. Speaker, which may not come, or may come after tomorrow, after the much ballyhooed budget that we're supposed to hear about, and how great it's supposed to treat seniors. So again, as the member for Dartmouth North said, we'll be watching, and we'll be listening, and let's hear the member for Colchester Musquodoboit Valley stand up tomorrow after the budget and say what a great job that government is doing for seniors. Let's hear him at that point, because we'll be over here watching, Mr. Speaker, but even more so the members of the opposition bench is watching. Seniors in Nova Scotia who have witnessed this debacle here tonight on behalf of the member will be watching as well. And they'll be saying, well, the member for Colchester Musquodoboit Valley and the government are saying that they have done positive enhancements for seniors, so let's put them exactly, let's put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, Mr. Speaker. And in this case, this government has not done that on behalf of seniors in this province. As I said, this government has cost seniors in this province a lot, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Time for late debate has expired.